Hey, what's up, MMA fans? Welcome to another edition of StaredownMMA TV. In this episode, we're going to talk about the current state of the UFC lightweight division, which is picking up steam as far as momentum is concerned here recently. Just announced has been the matchup of Clay Guida versus Gray Maynard, which is going to be the headlining fight for the UFC on FX3 event that's coming up here soon. Now that we have a new UFC lightweight champion in Benson Henderson, the situation got a little sticky and got a little confusing there for a second, especially following the outcome of UFC 144, where Henderson actually beat Frankie Edgar to obtain the title. A lot of speculation, a lot of rumors, a lot of alternate offers were made, immediate rematches were called for. Frankie Edgar, of course, wanted an immediate rematch against Benson following the outcome of the fight. He has a very valid argument in that. He gave his previous two competitors immediate rematches in their bouts so that they could finish their business. Beat BJ Penn twice, finished his trilogy with Gray Maynard. So now that we had a division that was essentially log-jammed for the last 2 years with only 3 top fighters with BJ, Gray, and Frankie, now all the other names can start making cases for themselves to try and get themselves into title contention here in the present picture, now that the momentum is starting to pick up. Anthony Pettis, he leveled and flattened Joe Lozon with that spectacular roundhouse kick, got the KO victory right there. He's back on track in the lightweight division. He called for a rematch with Ben Henderson, going back to their WEC days, back to the kick scene around the world, the spectacular Jackie Chan Matrix-style kick that Pettis put on Benson Henderson when he won the WEC lightweight title. Well, he wanted to fight Benson next, but of course, Frankie now is the one who's scheduled. He got his rematch, even though Dana White offered him a direct title shot against Jose Aldo if he were to drop down to 145, but he opted against that, wants to stay at 155, try and get his belt back from Benson. So we'll see how that transpires. But we also have Jim Miller, Nate Diaz, which is coming up here soon. Those guys are fighting to get to the top of the food chain at 155. It's interesting where Pettis is in the whole picture here. Some fans might even argue that Gray Maynard, Anthony Pettis might have made a little bit more feasible sense here coming up. Not taking anything away from Clay Guida. That guy gives anyone in the lightweight division fits and is a tough opponent no matter how you slice it. But now that, like I said, now that we have so much movement here at 155, we'll be interested to see how everything plays out. So we have Gray, Clay, then we have, of course, Benson and Frankie rematching coming up here, Nate, Jim Miller. So it makes all of the points leading around 155 being arguably the deepest talent pool in all of mixed martial arts gives that statement that much more validity. So we'll see what happens here, over the next couple of months and how everything transpires. It seems that Pettis is the odd man out. And there were all kinds of rumors here circulated recently about how he might even possibly be asked to go over to Strikeforce to challenge Gilbert Melendez for his lightweight title, which actually kind of makes a lot of sense now if you think about it. Considering that I just stated it, he looks like he's the odd man out in this situation. He also he showed a desire to possibly drop down and even challenge Jose Aldo for the featherweight title. Of course, that didn't pan out, so he was going to go ahead and stick around at 155. So that whole Melendez versus Pettis thing might actually come to pass. Cesar Gracie was the one who kind of started that whole thing when he announced that Melendez was going to be defending his title coming up here in May, and that they didn't really have an opponent solidified or cemented yet for that event that's coming up here. But he kind of said he'd like to see it be either Penn or Pettis. BJ Penn or Anthony Showtime Pettis to come over to Strikeforce and challenge Melendez for that title. UFC president Dana White did state that when they didn't directly bring over Gilbert Melendez to the UFC lightweight division and told him to kind of stay put over there in Strikeforce, that he would end up being a happy camper. That's kind of a precarious situation over there too with their lightweight division. We had Josh Thompson, who just beat KJ Noons, and what some fans viewed as a lackluster performance, strategical. He got the win, he got the victory. He's calling for another fight with Melendez. But you got Pat Healy, who has been sneaking underneath the barbed wire, so to speak, in the battlefield. And you look at what he did. He's beat guys that were previously undefeated. He crashed the party, the welcoming party for Maximo Blanco when he came into Strikeforce, and now he's going over to the UFC to fight in a weight class lighter because he got out-muscled and outsized by Pat Healy. So you would think that almost Thompson and Healy would be the first guys that would be considered for immediate title contention against Melendez and Strikeforce, but like I said, nothing's been solidified as of yet. We're going to keep everything up to date involving this situation, lightweight divisions for both the UFC and Strikeforce. It's just interesting to see that the lightweight division in the UFC hadn't been kind of bottlenecked for so long there, leading up to Gray and Frankie finally finishing their business, that now we have a new champion. And even though Edgar seems to be continuing this string of fight once, comes back, fights the same guy, but he's the champ. He deserves it. Accolades speak louder than words. So we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Like I said, we'll keep you up to date on everything, all the developments coming up. I want to give a quick shout out to my sponsor, multimonitors.com and Super PC, for providing me with the necessary equipment to continue my job. My other sponsor, Coalition Fight Music, my partners in crime, Tony Savo and the boys out there. Check out the links below for all of the websites that I work for, which would be Crooklyn's Corner, affiliated with Tap Out Radio. What's up, Crook? MMA Valor, Josh Wood and the boys. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and subscribe to my channel. And we'll see you guys next time. I'm going to get back to work. Later.